Hey guys, welcome back. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be creating this soft yet sultry smoky eye. This is kind of what I consider to be a classic smoky eye, where it's kind of done with eyeliner versus eyeshadow. And I think it's pretty suitable for any occasion, but I did create this look with Valentine's Day in mind because it is, I think, about 2 weeks away. I don't make a big deal of Valentine's Day. Kyle and I celebrate every day like it's Valentine's Day, I guess. We don't need a special day, or we don't need a designated day to celebrate our love. So sort of want to encourage you guys to think of Valentine's Day the same way, because I think some people beat themselves up about Valentine's Day if they don't have a date or if they don't have anything to do. But regardless, if you're going on a first date on Valentine's Day, hanging out with girlfriends, whatever it is that you're doing, if you want to get dressed up and go out, I hope that this look brings you some inspiration and goes with whatever it is that you're wearing. So if you guys are interested and want to see how I create this look, keep on watching. This video is brought to you by Suja. Just kidding. The first thing I'm going to do is prep my skin. I've been obsessed with this Urban Decay Quick Fix, it's got the longest name ever, Hydra Charged Complexion Prep Priming Spray. It does contain coconut water, so it's super hydrating for those of you with dry skin. And it also contains glycerin, so it leaves your skin looking really glossy and a little bit tacky, but it's perfect for skin prep. So I'm going to go ahead and spray myself with this. For a primer, I'm going to be using the new PUR No Filter Blurring Photography Primer. I actually wore this the entire time we were in the Caribbean, in Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's. I do have the vlog coming up. It's just a lot of footage to edit, so going through it still. Hopefully I'll have that up this weekend or next, but I will have it up. Kyle and I tried really hard on this vlog, okay? So hopefully it comes out good. But I wore this the entire trip because my skin, you guys know I keep struggling with the dermatitis underneath my eye, on my lip. It's currently acting up right now, and I think the salt water while we were on the trip made it worse. So because of that, I couldn't really apply a full face of makeup. So instead, I was just applying this all over my face because it has a really nice luminous finish, and it does sort of blur the pores. So it made my skin look better without having to apply makeup. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. So you can see it has like a gold shine to it, or it reflects gold. So it's really flattering on a lot of skin tones, really brightening, and really luminous. And then before I go in with any foundation, I'm going to add a little more glow to the high points of the face. You guys know I love doing this with a cream highlighter. It just gives an added shine to the high points, and it sort of just peeks through the foundation. So that way, if you want to leave it there, you can. If you want to add more glow, you can do so with a powder highlighter. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Master Strobing stick. This is in shade 100, the light one. And I'm just going to apply it to the high points, mainly in this area in a C shape. Bridge of the nose. A little bit right here on the temple, or like the forehead and temples. And then I'm just gonna take my beauty blender and blend this out. And for foundation, I'm using another new PUR product. This is the Bare It All foundation. It's a 12-hour 4-in-1 skin perfecting foundation. It has, they told me it had a matte finish, but I would say it's more of a natural skin finish. It doesn't leave you looking dry or really matte and chalky or powdery. And you don't have to use a lot of powder with this afterwards when you're setting, because it sort of sets itself, since it does have like that natural skin finish and it's not overly glowy. But because I want to create a super glowy natural skin effect, I'm actually going to mix a little bit of this foundation with an oil. And I think for today I'm going to be using this Jouer Daily Repair treatment oil. I actually haven't tried mixing this foundation with this oil, so we'll see how this turns out. I have my little Cosmo Cube palette right here. So it looks like that, and then I just kind of like mix it together. Oh, I feel like this color might be too dark. I don't know what I was thinking. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna apply a little bit, but I think I might have to grab one of the lighter shades to blend this out so I don't look super yellow. But I want to blend it out so it doesn't sit in like a weird place. Or actually, this actually might balance itself out once I apply concealer, if I go lighter with the concealer, so I'm actually going to stick with this. So I like to apply it with whatever brush I was using to mix with. This is a Dose of Colors concealer brush. I blend it in with my finger, and then I blend it out with the beauty blender. I'm also going to take whatever is left over on the sponge and run it across the eyes, and that's all I'm going to use as an eyeshadow base today. So now I'm going to highlight the center of the face with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, and I'm using the shade Light to really balance out how yellow and dark this foundation is, just to tone it down a bit. There are lighter shades in this foundation. Again, I'm just like too lazy to go and get it, so I'm going to do the trick with this guy. Okay, so now you can see everything looks a little more balanced out. It doesn't look as yellow and as dark as it did before. I knew I could save it with the concealer. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set everything. I'm using the Mer Powder. I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna pack it onto any areas that crease with the Beauty Blender, and then I'm gonna lightly dust the rest of my face with a brush. And on the lids, because I'm using my foundation as an eyeshadow base, I'm going to use a different powder that is a little more mattifying to make sure that my eyeshadow stays put all day. So I'm going to do this first. I'm going to show you guys the powder I'm going to use on the lids. And you guys will notice when I set with powder underneath my eyes, the dermatitis will show up a little more. So don't think it's the powder making me look cakey or the makeup. It's just dermatitis is like dry, scaly skin or dry, scaly patches of skin on the face. It's normally a reaction to some sort of ingredient, kind of like an allergic reaction. So until I figure out what's causing it, I'm using nothing on the eye area. So I was doing fine, and then I used something new and I can't remember what it was, and it came back up. So it's so annoying, but I can deal. I'm filming, bro. With sound.
Good though, bruh.
See, it just looks a little more wrinkled than normal. That's another thing that's annoying about it. I hate to sound like I'm complaining or whining. It's just if you have had dermatitis on your face, you know how annoying it is. I just sound like a broken record at this point, but you guys, you know. But it's also sort of on my lids, which is why I'm going to go for more of an all matte eyeshadow look. And also, I didn't want to apply like any eyeshadow primer that's super tacky because it would kind of stick to that area, whereas the powder kind of like softens it out, and also the foundation is a little lighter than an eyeshadow primer. So to set the eyelids, I'm going to be using the Bare Minerals Bare Pro foundation powder in the shade Champagne, and I'm actually going to use my Beauty Blender to apply it to the lid. And to create this look, I'm going to be using the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Volume 2 palette from Tarte. These shadows aren't super matte, they're more like a satin, which I thought would be really pretty. So I'm going to stick to using these 3 brown shades right here to sort of build on this eyeshadow look. So the first color I'm going to go in with is Marina. And whenever I use a palette, you guys, always take a good look at the eyeshadow colors, because you can always recreate it with similar colors. It doesn't have to be the exact same palette if you can't get your hands on it. So I'm going to go in with that shadow first, and I'm going to apply it to the crease and start winging it out. So I like to start with this outer V and then blend it into the crease, and then whatever's left over in the brush, I blend out towards that wing. If you guys want a really detailed eyeshadow tutorial on how I do this technique, I do have one on my channel, and I will link it in this video so you guys can check that out. All right, next I'm using the color Seaside, and I'm basically just following the wheel on this palette and going from light to dark. So I'm gonna use a smaller brush and apply this to the outer V and also blend it into the crease. So I apply it to the outer V, but I sweep it in. So I don't really want the lid to be light, but I also don't want it to be all the way filled in. And then while I'm here, I'm also going to pick up the darkest shade and just run it along the upper lash line with that same brush, and then blend it up into the other colors. So I'm going to start right here and then start blending it up. Now I'm going to create a really smoky effect using a black liner. This is the Maybelline Lasting Drama Waterproof Gel Pencil. And I'm going to start by outlining the outer edges of the waterline, and then I'm going to slowly take it up over the lash line on top, or over the lashes. So I'm going to tightline first, And I'm going to start applying this liner to this outer V. And then I'm going to blend it out, or buff it out with this brush. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the lower lash line. And I'm actually going to use this brush I was using earlier and take the darkest eyeshadow and just buff out the outer edges of this black liner. And I actually really love this pretty gold shadow right here for a highlight. Normally I like face highlighters as my highlight, but this one works really well. So I'm going to apply this to the inner corner. So for brows, I'm going to try using this brow pencil. This is the Goof Proof Brow Pencil by Benefit in shade 4. It's a little darker than what I normally use, which I've been needing a darker one, so I want to give this one a try. And then I'm just going to set them in place with my Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. Okay, so I was going to do individual lashes, but I've actually really been loving these new Ardell Faux Mink lashes. These are the style 812. So I'm going to be applying those, but first I'm going to apply a little bit of this Colossal Big Shot Mascara by Maybelline, which is still my favorite mascara at the moment. I still want to keep everything pretty soft and not do any intense contouring. So I'm just going to warm up my skin and define my bone structure with a bronzer. This is the Laure Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Bronzer in shade 02. And I'm just going to follow the areas that I would contour, but I'm just going to add a little bit of bronzer. So I'm just going to tap it in, starting with the cheekbones. If I need to tone it down, I just take that foundation powder again and go over it. And then I'm going to use the sculpting powder by Kevin Aucoin in the shade Light to shade the sides of my nose, because the Laure Mercier one is coming out a little too orange, so I don't want to apply that to the sides of the nose. And I'm using JD Wade's Nose Chiseler, Nose Perfector. And then to highlight my skin, I'm going to be using the Tarte Skin Twinkle Volume 2. I'm actually going to go over this inner corner highlight with one of these as well, whichever one I use on my face, because this is translating super yellow for me. This is why I always use a face highlighter on the inner corner so it looks more natural. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the shade Spotlight to the high points of my face. And then for blush, I'm using the Marc Jacobs Air Blush in the shade Kink and Kisses. Before I add the lip, I'm going to give myself a spritz of this brand new CoverFX Illuminating Setting Spray. It definitely leaves a nice sheen on your skin. I went off camera to apply my lip because if there's one thing I struggle with when it comes to makeup, it's finding a perfect nude lipstick for myself. On others, I tend to do fine, but on myself, I'm not a big fan of nude lipstick, and that sounds crazy because everybody loves a nude lip, but I just always tend to pick the wrong colors for myself. Either they're too light and it looks like I have icing on my lips, like I bit into a cupcake and forgot to wipe my lips. And I think that's because the nude lips that I'm drawn to are the really, really light ones, which are meant for more of like a fair skin tone. And then the other reason I don't tend to like a nude lip is because I do have an olive undertone. So a lot of the times nude lipsticks will turn really brassy around the rim, making it look like I have mustard on my lips. It's a whole ordeal, but anyway, the lip I decided to put on is Nudist by Bare Minerals. This is the GenNude lipstick. And then the lip liner I paired it with is the Makeup Forever High Precision Lip Pencil in the shade number 10. So that completes this look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment down below on any other requests you would like to see for a Valentine's Day inspired look. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so I see you in the next one. Bye guys.